Let's bring in Steve Kerr. Steve, before I get to you, I want to bring back what Mark Jackson said after Golden State's win last night over Denver and then get your response to this. Here's Mark Jackson after Golden State's win last night in Denver.
Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, in my opinion, they're the greatest shooting backcourt in the history of the game. And I'm a guy that's just not throwing that out there. I followed basketball my entire life. Not only played, covered, but I was a fan as a kid. I watched the great players. And these two guys are absolutely off the charts. I would have put Reggie Miller and myself in there, but I held him down.
All right, Steve, what do you think of that?
Reggie and I did a telecast in Golden State 2 weeks ago, and we had this discussion on the air, and I think it's accurate as long as these guys stay healthy and do it for a few years. I mean, they've only done it for a couple of seasons together, but when you look at them and you look at their percentages and the way they shoot it and the range, we couldn't come up with anybody else, another backcourt that shot the ball better. So I believe what Mark is saying, but you got to have a little bit bigger resume. It's got to happen for a couple more years before we really can say that.
Well, I think you have to. He has to clarify it by saying long-range shooters, because if you give me Walt Frazier and Earl Monroe, you give me Gail Goodrich and Jerry West, these are guys who are averaging 25 a game when we didn't have the designation of point guard and shooting guard. I could put you with Michael Jordan. That's a pretty good tandem. I could put John Paxson with Michael Jordan. Pretty good tandem, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think what we're talking about is long range shooting. They're great shooters for mid range. They're great shooters from 25 feet. These guys can shoot from anywhere, and both of them just absolutely beautiful strokes. Michael Jordan was the greatest scorer that I've ever seen, but not a great long range shooter. So I think, yeah, you're right. We have to clarify what Mark is talking about, but regardless, it is just remarkable to see those two guys, the way they shoot it and spread the floor. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, and I remember watching Klay shoot in college, and I just loved, there's a motion, there's a rhythm to shooters, but Steph Curry is still special. I would watch him shoot around. If I had to pay admission, I would watch him just shoot around. I think what he does, and he makes shots, it's like a putter, like Tiger would make putts that were center cut. He shoots and the net doesn't move. J.J. Redick did that in college at Duke, and Steph Curry did that at Davidson, but he carried that over to the NBA where that net does not move sometimes when he's shooting. I mean, it's incredible.
He's pure like his dad, Dell, was. The difference in what makes Steph so special is his handle is just ridiculous. I mean, what he does with the ball before he shoots, it makes him the complete player that he is. He gets anywhere he wants, and that's so rare. I mean, there's very few players that I can remember who have the ability to handle the ball like that and shoot it. Steve Nash comes to mind most recently. An old teammate of mine, Mark Price, had an incredible combination, ball handling and shooting. But Steph, I think, is the best I've ever seen in terms of just freeing himself up and shooting effortlessly from 28 feet. It's just remarkable.
You mentioned Mark Price. If he had stayed healthy, I mean, he was a 2010 guy with an unbelievable handle and had great range, never missed from the line. And you know what? He was another one of those guys. He had the burden of playing during the Jordan era, so nobody was winning championships. But Mark Price, one of the more underrated players in the history of the game.
I'm amazed that the younger generation really doesn't know who he is. I mean, I'll talk at camps and mention Mark's name, and I get these blank stares, and I can't believe it because he was absolutely one of the best point guards in the league. He was the originator of splitting the double team. You see guys do it all the time. That high hedge on a high pick and roll. Everybody else used to try to dribble around it. Price was the first guy I ever saw who split it and shot that little floater in the lane. But he was stunning. And you're right, if he had stayed healthy and put together a few more years, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
He's Steve Kerr from TNT joining us, Dan Patrick Show. If I said I'll give you Steph Curry or Derrick Rose going forward, who do you got?
Oh, man. They're so different. And it all really depends on Rose's recovery. I think I'd have to see him before I answered that question. But they're very different. I think Rose attacks you physically, and Curry attacks you with skill. I'd be pretty happy with either one as my starting point guard, though.
Oh, look at you backing out of this. What if I threw Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry? Just those two.
Oh, man. Wow. Wow. God, you're going to force me to answer this.
Yeah, I'm backing you down.
I'll take Kyrie right now, just because I think he's a little more powerful and a little more dynamic getting to the rim and attacking people in the paint. But I'm not going to continue because you're just going to mock me. So I'll just stop right there.
I saw where you mentioned that Phil's not going to coach again, Phil Jackson, and I keep saying I just can't see him coaching anywhere. I think he wants to be in the front office and maybe have a piece of a team. But the Cavaliers reached out to him, which is nice. I just can't see Phil. He doesn't do rebuilding reclamation projects.
Yeah, I mean, I've stayed in touch with him, and not that I have a definitive answer about what he's going to do, but my sense is that he has great interest in getting back in the league, but the travel and the health concerns, just the wear and tear of the NBA season as a coach would keep him from doing that. So I think he's going to be back in the league as an architect, maybe not a GM, but a vice president, somebody who can help build an organization. But I think he misses the competition. I think he'd like to be back in.
Kobe tweeting during the game as the third man in the booth. You have a problem with that? If you're the GM, you're Mitch Kupchak, and Kobe is tweeting during a game. Got a problem with that?
I don't have any problem with him tweeting during the game, given that he's out for the season, at home, injured. As long as it doesn't have to do with strategy. I don't want him questioning my coach, and I think that was the way it came off when he was talking about, we got to go inside more, we've got to do this. That's undermining the coach, and that just doesn't help at all. And I think that's the probably the biggest issue there.
If there was Twitter around when Jordan was playing, would he have used it to trash talk?
I don't know. MJ doesn't strike me as a Twitter guy. I think he prefers just face-to-face, letting you know.
Steve did the Bulls-Nets Monday night, Celtics-Knicks last night, doing the Heat-Bucks tomorrow night. It's tough watching Eastern Conference basketball, Steve. I got to be honest. I held in as long as I could, Celtics-Knicks, and even the Heat-Bucks. I mean, it's tough basketball.
It's not as good. I mean, it's pretty simple. The West is much stronger. It's more entertaining. The Denver Golden State game was so fun to watch.
Awesome.
So much
awesome. Yep.
Yeah, it was great. But, Boston is really shorthanded without Rondo in particular. They just can't get anything going in the half court. And the Knicks are the 30th place team in fast break points in the NBA. I mean, they don't run at all. So they're going to come down and just beat you in the half court with Melo and JR, and they're really good defensively, and it's just a different style. And you're right, the West is more entertaining for sure.
When it comes to pure scores, where do you put Carmelo Anthony?
I put him second after Durant. I think Durant's one just because of his incredible length and the shooting range. But Carmelo is a close second. He's unreal. He's so strong. He's got beautiful shooting touch, and he just attacks you for 48 minutes. The guy is just an absolute load.
But where else would you put? If we're looking at all-time just pure scorers who just are relentless, where does Melo rank? Where does Durant rank?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, now you're talking. You got to go through a lot of names. But they're. I mean, if I had to throw out something, I would say top 10, top 15 right now, and rising rapidly. I mean, Durant's going to go down as a top 5 player, I think, of all time.
Do you think he challenges Kareem's all-time scoring record?
I haven't really done the math. I mean, he's going to have to stay healthy.
He's only 24. 3 scoring titles, barely missed out on a 4th.
I'll tell you this: I think Steph Curry's going to blow away Ray Allen's record if he stays healthy.
Oh, the most threes.
Most threes ever. I mean, the way the game is played now, a guy like Curry will shoot 10 threes a game, whereas Ray Allen early in his career, the game was different. He might take 3 or 4. So Curry's going to run away with that record, but Durant is, I mean, if he stays healthy, he's going to challenge a lot of records.
Hey, good to visit with you. Have fun with the games, and we'll talk soon. Thank you, Steve.
All right, thanks.
That's Steve Kerr, TNT. He's got the Heat and the Bucks coming up tomorrow night.